Hello there, everyone. This is Aaron St. Dennis, the FF Mad Scientist, and welcome in to the Mad Science Lab podcast. Today, we are continuing on with the My Tiers series, and I should say concluding, and we are going out with a bang. Today we have Dynasty running backs, and to do so, we have the Podfather himself, Matt Kelley. Matt, thank you so much for joining me.
Woo! Hey! Happy to be here, man.
I like the enthusiasm.
Happy to be here. Loving life.
Awesome. Before we get into it, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you, as if they didn't already fucking know?
Playerprofiler.com, playerprofiler.com. This is how we're wrapping up Dynasty Week with one Aaron St. Dennis, the FF Mad Scientist. Love it. Love running back tier talk all day. And at Player Profiler, the draft kit is launching in a day or two. The strategy mode has now launched for our Dynasty rankings and Dynasty Deluxe. Check it out. Let's go.
Yeah. I think Seth dropped earlier my recap article there of the startup draft we were doing for Dynasty. So check that out at Player Profiler. As well, the things I always plug to my buddies, check out the Injury Finder and the Breakout Finder apps. And my favorite, that new fucking trade analyzer you've got going with the three different, what do you got? Win now, neutral, and rebuild. That's awesome. I don't think I've seen anyone else with that. It's outstanding.
That's strategy mode. Yeah, that's Dynasty Deluxe, and
awesome.
It's coming to the Dynasty Dominator app soon as well. Just well, why don't you put it in the app? We're gonna, man. It's like
I think I asked
stuff for the app is a totally different process, and we're on it. Like we're on it.
I think I asked that too. I said, "Is it on the app yet?" Because I use the app a lot too. But
yeah,
no,
it's coming to the app. Don't worry, everybody.
Awesome.
It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. Tiny Dancer. It's okay.
Love it. Well, let's get right into it here. We have, if I could click on the right background here. First up for our running back tiers, we have Cam Akers. Where do you got Cam?
What happened to Bijan?
It's I think they sort it through alphabetical order. So
so we have to go. Oh, so we're not okay. I see what we're doing.
Yeah,
we're just grabbing random dudes and deciding what tier they're in.
Yep, it's top 30 by ADP. Is
can't go in order. This is top 30 by ADP.
Yeah, but it's sorted alphabetically. We don't want to just go in order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I think Cam Akers, he's only 24. He's at the age apex. You know, pre-Achilles, he ran a 4.47. He's comparable to players like Mixon and Marlon Mack, and so it's just a range of players that he's comparable to. He's got great size. I think he's a better receiver than we've seen. He struggled to get downfield because of the Achilles tear, but now I think 2+ years. I think it will be now as of today, or right around this time is when he ruptured the Achilles 2 years ago.
Yep.
So at the 2-year mark, I like Cam Akers. If we're only doing 30 players, he's near the bottom of this list. However, I am not going to put him at bad. I'm going to put him at below average. Below average for Cam Akers. I think below average, but this in a good way. In a good way, because there's going to be a lot of I'm pretty snobby with my tiers, and I think he's got some room to grow. I think he's got some upside. I have him in a bunch of dynasty leagues. I have not dropped him or traded him, I should say. So yeah, I'm optimistic that this team is going to be competitive this year with Matthew Stafford back and healthy. The big question is the offensive line. And will the offensive line create running lanes? I don't know. Will he be able to operate downfield as a receiver, or is he just going to be a dump off receiver? That's a big open question. I think he has the ability. I don't know if he has the explosiveness. Lots of questions.
That's the question, though, that has me a little higher on him. Every time we talk receiver and they say, who's the number 2 in targets on the Rams behind Cooper Kupp? Cam Akers might be the answer. And as scary as that sounds,
only 18 targets last year and less than 10 fantasy points a game. I'm not encouraged by what I saw last year, but I think it's only going to get better. His yards per route run was a meager 0.91, which is pathetic. His breakaway run rate was outside the top 30, which is pathetic. So we're not seeing the explosiveness. We're not seeing the tackle breaking ability. I think that there's concerns about his work ethic. and his behavior and his dedication to the team created big time tension with McVay. So these are red flags that have to suppress him, that have to push him down near the bottom. It's a question of bad versus below average. There's enough juice there left that I think below average is where we put him.
Yeah, this screams running back dead zone volume play here. So next up, we've got Saquon.
Oh, Saquon Barkley. He's got to be – isn't he great? I feel like Saquon Barkley's great. That's an easy, great call. Yep. He's not in the elites yet anymore because he's in Dynasty. This is a Dynasty conversation. He's 2 years past the age apex. At least when the season starts, he will be. And this offense is not going to be prolific. And so it's interesting. We'll see how many passes he catches this year. I'm hoping that he can operate a little bit more frequently as a receiver. Last year, only 57 catches, only 76 targets. I was outside the top 5. You tell me that Saquon's going to play most games, right? Let's see, how many games did he play last year? 16 games. So Saquon plays 16 games and he's outside the top 5 in targets among running backs. That's not great.
No.
He only had 38 red zone touches, which is outside the top 15. So you would think that he would have better numbers. He'd be at least top 10 in red zone and top 5 in targets last year. The fact that he wasn't means even though we view him as elite, you can't put him in the elite category.
Franchise tag, you think they might increase his carries here and just milk the last little bit out of him before letting him walk, but I guess we'll see.
I don't really care about between the 20s carries.
Yeah, true enough. Next up, we have an option here. I have Brian Robinson.
He's top 30?
He was top 30 according to DLF ADP, and that should tell you everything you need to know.
Get out of here. Let me just tell you where we have him, just so everybody knows a great player profiler versus DLF comparison. DLF has him top 30.
It might be 36 if there's 36 on here, but
30 to 36, where I can't find him. We have him well outside the top 40 because he's a slug.
And so do I. And so my option I normally give to everyone is if you prefer Antonio
Bad.
Gibson,
he's bad. Just put him in the bad zone.
Yeah,
God damn it, he's bad.
Yes, he is.
He's bad. Nick Chubb's good, though.
All right, that's who's next. Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, but is he in the good zone or great zone? That's the question. Is Nick Chubb good or great? Given it's Dynasty and given that he's a year older than Barkley, I think we can't put him in the great zone. We're going to put him in the good zone.
I agree very much. Yeah. The lack of pass catching upside, and they look like they really want to throw the ball more this year. Who knows if they'll actually do it?
That's exciting. Yeah, he can catch 50 passes. Why? I think he will catch 50 passes. I think he's going to have a career year this year. It's going to be great. But because of the age and the fact this is Dynasty, what are you going to do, dude? What are you going to do?
Ooh, he's a value.
The high end of the good tier. He's the top of the high end of the good tier.
He's a value in redraft then, if that's the case.
He's a big time value. 50. I love getting my running backs in the second round. Chubb and Pollard and Chubb. There is a chance that you could actually get Pollard Chubb at the turn, the 2-3 turn.
Yeah,
that is the only way I go any kind of robust running back. Where you're drafting more running backs in the first 3 rounds than say receivers. That's the only scenario I can see doing it. That makes sense. The next guy's what? James Conner?
Yeah, and for dynasty purposes, he's going to suck, but God, do I love getting this guy in best ball drafts. Just nobody wants him.
Yeah, he's a value. Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Average?
Yeah, he's a value. The thing is, though, what's the big difference between him and Samaje Perine right now? I mean, there's really not much of a difference. Samaje is probably going to start the first month of the season. Yeah. Connor, how long is he going to start before he gets injured? He's a half year older than Chubb. He's on an offense where they're going to be starting Jeff Driscoll. And then by the time Murray gets back, will Connor even be healthy and playing? He's at the end of his career. I don't think that we have James Conner in our top 36. We do not, so we're going to go ahead and put him in the bad zone.
Fair enough. This is an interesting one. Dalvin Cook, where do you have him now?
I don't know. I don't care. Whatever. I mean, where can we put him? He's better than a few players. Where do we put Akers?
Below average.
We put Akers in below average, so that's
Yeah.
where Cook's going to go.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Oh, this one, I don't know how he's in top 30 or 36 ADP. AJ Dillon. Who's drafting him that high? I can't stand
In
Dillon.
Dynasty, it's interesting. AJ Dillon's interesting in Dynasty. I don't have like a strong feeling about him, but he does have breakaway run speed with tackle breaking ability. He's 25 years old, so he's right at the age apex. He's kind of perfectly positioned to score a bunch of touchdowns this year. It's interesting. He's just an interesting player. I love players with his profile in the second round capital, size and explosiveness with at least some dump off pass catching ability. So it's, oh God,
Wow.
I
seem much higher on him than I am.
Yeah. I think we're you can't put him in average. We're not gonna put him in bad though. I think you put him one above bad.
All right. Yeah, that's fair enough. I guess he's more of a projection than anything.
He is a projection. I mean, if there's any injury to if Aaron Jones misses games,
yes, he does.
And if this offensive line is good, not great, he could be. He has a lot of contingent value. Where like he has more contingent value than let's say Alexander Madison. Alexander Madison is not the explosive athlete with the breakaway run ability that AJ Dillon is. It's just that he lost his incumbent already. AJ Dillon hasn't lost his incumbent yet. But all else equal, if there was no Aaron Jones, just like there's no Dalvin Cook in Minnesota, I'd much prefer AJ Dillon to say someone like Alexander Madison. Who's next? Is that J.K. Dobbins?
J.K. Dobbins. I love Dobbins.
So Dobbins has the breakaway run speed. Dobbins has the pass catching ability. Dobbins is actually, I think, closer to the Chubb tier. I'm going to put him in the Chubb tier. If Chubb's at the top of the good tier, I think that Dobbins is more at the end of the good tier.
He's another one like Akers, though. He's just about 2 years post ACL, and I think he's only going to get better this season.
That's right. He was the most efficient receiver out of the backfield in his rookie year. Will they throw more? No. It's Lamar Jackson. Are they going to throw more to the running backs? Absolutely not. These are the things that are holding him back. But in a vacuum, he is everything we talked about with Akers, but more better. He actually has the pass catching ability that no running back we've talked about other than Saquon Barkley possesses, and so that's why you got to put him there. It's a little bit of a projection as well for him, but there's a ton of upside there with Dobbins, especially if this offense is good and he scores a ton of touchdowns. If they try to preserve Lamar Jackson in the red zone, why not give the ball to J.K. Dobbins there? All right, who's next? Eckler?
Eckler, yep.
Oh, man, Eckler. I got to put him in good.
Yeah.
Great. No, great. He's great.
Based on age alone?
He's great. He's great because otherwise he'd be elite. Who's next? ETN?
ETN, yep.
He's pretty great too.
He is.
Isn't he great?
He is. I think that Jacksonville offense is going to take a huge step, but we will see. Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs is great.
Okay, I can't argue it.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got the youth. He's got the you think he's good? You think he's just good?
No,
I'll tell you where we have him in Dynasty. We have Jahmyr Gibbs as the RB4.
Oof. I think after the first month to 6 weeks of the season, he could be top 1 or 2. I think he's just going to get an insane amount of targets with Jamison Williams suspended. He could start hotter than any rookie running back. I think he might be ahead of Bijan after week 4.
That's right.
So next up, Breece Hall.
Elite.
Enough.
Why is he elite? Because he's an elite receiver. He gets downfield. His target depth is one of the best in the league. He was one of the most consistent scorers in the league at the running back position before his injury. This is Dynasty. He's years until the age apex hits. He's well within that ideal zone. The offense is getting better. They've invested in the offensive line. They brought in Rodgers. They've added receiving talent. So I think he has second round capital. The only issue is this whole Abanikanda draft pick, and then the Michael Carter and Bam Knight. There's a little fuck it, get him out of there. Put him in. I just talked myself out of it. Put him in great. Put him in great.
Why did they draft so many? That's what
I don't know. I don't like it. The fact that he's not a first round pick and that they don't seem to be as all in on him as, say, even Jacksonville is with ETN, then I'm just not. I can't. If it were me and I trusted the organization that they would just feed him exclusively, but I just don't trust them to do that.
Great dynasty outlook. Are you worried more for a redraft this year? Just come back from the injury?
I don't like him for redraft at all. He's coming off an ACL tear. Since when is coming a guy getting a guy in redraft off an ACL tear? Since when is that a good idea? There's so many more better options in terms of arbitrage. Just go Rashad White. If you like a player like him and you want to wait an extra 5 rounds to get him, Rashad White's the move, and he's healthy. So it doesn't make any sense to draft Breece Hall this year. But in Dynasty, I think Breece Hall, he's going to be in the RB1 conversation. If he finishes strong this year, he'll be in the RB1 conversation next year.
100%. Najee Harris.
Oh, Najee Harris.
Volume monster.
Isn't it just, I think that
volumes his way through every year? I think if Kenny Pickett ever takes a step forward here, this whole team's a value, but I don't know how much faith I have.
Just put him in good. He's good. Oh God, I wasn't. Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Good. He's good. Right. I think just he was preserved just enough early in his career.
Yeah.
That we can still put him in the good zone without calling him average.
Khalil Herbert.
Oh, bleh. Khalil Herbert's fine. He's fine, but he's definitely no Roschon Johnson. He's only going to be a starter for a couple weeks because of Roschon.
Thank you.
He's, draft capital. What about that late 6th round pick in Khalil Herbert? Oh, no, he's good. Okay, yeah, shut up. So, Khalil Herbert's 25. He's actually past the age apex, too. So we're going to go ahead and put him in the bad. So
yes, everyone acts like I'm out of my mind saying Roschon's going to take this job by week 5 or 6, but
if not 3 or 4.
2 in front of him have done nothing. Khalil Herbert's had a few good games when David Montgomery was down to injury. So I'm out. Josh Jacobs.
Oh God.
That's how I felt. I just took him in that dynasty startup where I went QB early, and I think Josh Jacobs.
He's good. He's good.
That's how I felt about drafting him now. Jamal Williams.
Why is he in here?
No fucking clue.
Is this another DLF thing?
No comment.
Jesus Christ. Do they not know they drafted Kendre Miller?
Yeah.
Is Kendre Miller in here?
Nope.
What?
No, he is not. He is not. He is significantly further down.
What?
I don't know.
Oh,
you notice Roschon is also not on
here. Don't make any sense. Well, yeah, he's bad. Get him out of here. I mean, he's fine. I like him a lot as a person. He's a great interview, and he's a great teammate, and all these things. He's a great person. But in terms of fantasy football for Dynasty, past the age apex, he's the 3rd running back. What are we talking about? Get him out of here.
All right. Next up, we have James Cook.
Oh, boy. A player I have 0. I have 0 James Cook. Why would I ever have James Cook on my team?
So bad.
Oh God, James Cook. Just put him in below average because there's some upside there. If he weren't on the Bills, man, he'd be bad.
We have Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. He's interesting. But I'm out on him. I'm out on him in this offense. I don't understand what his appeal is. But I still think that he's in with the Akers crew. Let's go. No. Is he in there? Oh, man. Would you put him in with the Akers crew, or would you put him slightly above?
I think the Akers crew.
I think you know what? He's not. He's better than that. He actually. Oh, you know what? There's not I haven't heard the upside case for him. What is the upside case for Aaron Jones in the Jordan Love offense?
I don't know. Let me know when you figure it out. I don't think there is one.
All right, below average.
Yeah, okay. Alvin Kamara.
Woof. So he's projected to miss at least 8 games, 6 maybe. 6 to 8 games.
Yeah. I would say at least 6 if it goes through this season.
Well, what's the delay? Why just get it over? Actually, you know what? For him as a running back, he should try to just delay this thing into infinity. You got to put below average.
Drew Davenport seemed to think that it wouldn't go through this season. They just seemed to delay the case, and he might not face suspension this year after all. That was just Drew's thoughts, though.
But still, that offense is not good. The offensive line has been decimated as they've just been in salary cap hell. He's not going to put up 6 touchdowns in a game ever again. I mean, this is that they drafted Kendre Miller. I like him. Like, he's a fun player. He's unfortunately older.
Yeah.
He's going to be 28 when the season starts. That's no good. It's Dynasty, and because of his track record as a producer, he can't be put in the bad. He's been too elite for too long for it to put him in the bad zone at age 28, but we're going to stick him in below average.
I'm a Saints fan, and he is my favorite player, but his best days are well behind him.
Is that Alexander Madison's coming up? Oh, my God.
Oh,
I cut you off. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't mean to. You're a Saints fan. I just saw who was next.
No, I am a Saints fan, but last year was his worst year in pretty much everything. Efficiency, yardage. His best days are past him. But yes, moving on to what should be the Madden cover boy, because apparently he's the greatest fucking player in the NFL.
Bad.
Yeah,
bad.
He's bad. Alexander Madison's bad.
If the test for Dynasty is if you're following anyone who is touting Alexander Madison as any kind of value, who has been chasing him all season, knowing, Dalvin Cook. Yes, we all know Dalvin Cook is unlikely to be a Viking in 2023. And just so you can have the June victory lap, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to tout that player and to get people juiced up on that player and overpaying for that player. If he is like a top 5 must add, must draft player, if you have a Dynasty analyst who's been touting him strongly and under the premise that he is a good football player, unsubscribe.
I had 1 share of him in Dynasty leagues, and I sold it earlier in the week for Dwayne McBride and a late first-round pick.
Oh, a first-rounder and Dwayne McBride?
Yeah.
Oh, and Dwayne McBride outscores him this year, which is very possible because I think Dwayne McBride's a better runner of footballs than Alexander Madison, and Ty Chandler's a better catcher of footballs than Alexander. Alexander Madison's not the best at anything as a running back on his own team, even without Dalvin Cook. It's pathetic. Breakaway runs. How about Kene and Wangu? Like, he's
not
the best at anything. He's bad.
Moving on to someone who's not bad, we have CMC.
CMC is great.
Great.
He's great. He is still great. Past the age apex, which means he's not elite, but he's great.
You're right there. I had a tough time with him. He's getting to the point where he might fall into the Travis Kelce argument, where it's like, fuck it, I'm putting him elite until he dies on my roster, but I can't argue great either. I get at the age, but
I love that we're this far into this and we have no elites and no averages.
Well, because we have Bijan about 6.
Whoa, shut up, dude! Table talk! What are you doing? You can't say that! What? I love this. I love that I'm clearly, like, if you thought I was a big optimist, a big tout in Dynasty, well, I think this proves that I'm not.
Yeah.
That, I skew 1 tier below the average tier for most players.
Oh, that's my fault. I should know better than the table talk. I heard Alan's lecture the other day. Who did you try and punish?
Can't believe you mentioned that name.
Ebro? Next up, we got Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon and Cam Akers are in a very similar situation.
Ooh, that's scary.
In that they're very similar players. They've both had waning efficiency, but they catch a lot of dump off passes. But Mixon caught 60 passes last year. I mean, incredible, right? So it's interesting. And he had 1,200 rushing yards the year prior. So, and there's no Samaje Perine. So combine his work as a runner with his work as in 2021. Hey, with his work as a receiver in 2022, he's a top 3 running back in fantasy. If you did an amalgam, except the problem is he's going to be 27 and his efficiency is fading, so that's not possible. But he's still the clear-cut primary back, and Chase Brown stinks. I've seen Chase Brown get overdrafted so crazy extent.
Did they not watch
Chase Brown and Sean Tucker? Like, what is the big difference? Why would you Chase Brown and then not go Sean Tucker? They're very similar in college. Both of them have real weaknesses in all the football-y skills, like pass protection, ball security, all these things that we as fantasy gamers don't care as much about when we're looking at the box scores, your box score scouting, like, oh, this Chase Brown's really good. Problem is, in real life football, when they're assessed by scouts, they're like pass, or when they have to go to the Senior Bowl and step up in competition, they face plant. So that's why I'm not into Sean Tucker. That's why I'm not into Chase Brown. 5 years ago, I would have loved those guys, but my process is much more nuanced now and much more accurate, and therefore it leads me to actually believing that Joe Mixon is a value.
Anyone who argues otherwise, just go to YouTube and watch Chase Brown highlights from the Senior Bowl or Senior Bowl week. Holy shit, he can't hold on to the football. He can't catch. He fumbles every second run. No, thank you. So where did you have Mixon in all that?
Below average.
Below average. Next up, we've got, who's it? David Montgomery?
Yes, we have our one guy. This is the personification and the quintessential average running back. We finally have the average running back. He is at the age apex. He's not bad. He's not good. He's a very good runner. He's a solid receiver. He's in a situation where he's going to score a lot of fantasy points, but he's not a difference maker.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh, Pachex. Incredible value in best ball this year. Incredible value in Dynasty. I'm trying to draft him in Dynasty wherever I can, just based on what I think he's going to do this year. He's 23 years old. If he plays well, then he gets a commitment from the team. Remember, this is a team that has committed to late-round running backs in the past, like Priest Holmes. So Isaiah Pacheco has a little bit of Priest Holmes in him. That all said, you can't really put him in the average zone because he hasn't proven himself to be average yet. We think he will be, but he needs to catch more passes, so we got to put him in below average.
I'm not even going to mention the third stringer on this roster because I heard that podcast with Nate Liss, and I know how long you went on berating Nate for. So we'll move on to a different player and not mention terrible Kansas City running back. Samaje Perine.
Why is Perine on this list? This is a dynasty ranking. Are you sure you pulled the dynasty rankings?
I'm positive. I think he's moved down since yesterday, but yeah, no, I did. I've got it in front of me.
What?
Where do you want him? Oh, he's down now. He has moved down. I put this up Friday. He's moved down about 6 slots this week.
On what news did he move down on?
I have no idea.
That is such an arbitrary what?
No idea.
I don't understand how he would even ever have been in anybody's top 36 this year or at any point in his career. Bad. Get out of here. Embarrassing.
Bad. Don't know why he's even on here.
Doesn't make sense.
Dameon Pierce.
Oh, Dameon Pierce. Gonna give David Montgomery a run for his average title. But awesome. Alas, he's 23, no touch competition whatsoever. He's gonna catch more passes this year. If he plays well, he'll get a commitment from the organization. He's actually good.
Who did they add? Singletary or Harris? I can't remember.
Singletary.
Oh yeah, that's scary. That's scary. Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard would be considered great, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you're not worried at all that Zeke's going to resign? Sorry, I couldn't say it with a straight face. I tried.
Tony Pollard's great, man. Tony Pollard deserves to be in the great zone. He could be the RB1 in fantasy this year, but the reason why he's lower than these other great guys on our dynasty rankings is the Zeke risk. If Zeke more Dalvin Cook. The Dalvin Cook risk is the big risk with Pollard. So as soon as the Dalvin Cook signing happens anywhere other than Dallas, Pollard will bounce back up in our dynasty rankings. Our dynasty rankings are updated constantly, and we follow the news with the rankings, get adjusted based on the new projections based on the news, not arbitrary decisions made by nobody knows why with timing that doesn't make any sense. So am I looking at who am I looking at? Oh, I think I know who I'm looking at next.
Running back Jesus.
Hey, elite! We got him! We figured it out! We got an elite guy!
One. Awesome.
Yes! We got elite!
I love it.
We made it. We made it, Mom. We got elite.
Finally. Took what, 30 people here. I don't think there's much to say about him. That's pretty straightforward.
Miles Sanders is below average.
Do you like the Carolina landing spot more than you liked when he was in Philly? I like it.
I think I was talking to Anand Nanduri, and we think that Carolina to win the division is one of the better bets in the futures market.
For sure. That division sucks, but I think he could see a career high in targets. Just there's not much on that offense.
He won't get more targets than he did as a rookie, but yes, he's going to be one of the better receivers on that team. I think that Bryce Young targets the running back. He did in college. Ask Jahmyr Gibbs. It's cool. It's a cool landing spot for him. He's not going to he's no touchdowns, but everything else will be there for him. Chuba Hubbard, though, in the passing game is a concern. Chuba is an exciting player. I'm in a dynasty startup with you right now, and someone traded up with me to get Chuba Hubbard.
Really? I didn't see. I seen
that
the trade
happened.
Up.
That just happened. Yeah.
There's a lot of trade ups in that draft.
Ramondre Stevenson. We're not overly bullish on him. We're not overly bearish. We're just even on Ramondre Stevenson. He's basically like a very interesting debate when it comes to like Chubb versus Stevenson, where Chubb is superior in every way and a better team, but the age, it's a very interesting dichotomy between Chubb and Stevenson. Chubb has the explosive capabilities. Stevenson does not, but they're both huge. The proper workhorse backs. It's just an interesting, I like comparing Chubb and Stevenson in Dynasty. There's just a lot of angles to discuss there. So he's right there with Chubb in the top of the good zone.
The difference for me, I just do not trust Bill Belichick.
No, that's completely fair. Can you slide him closer to Chubb though, so that we have him? There we are. See, that's where he belongs. Oh yeah. Okay, now who is this? Is that Swift?
Swifty.
Okay, so here's the thing with Swift. We talked about my prior self and where I would put guys and whatnot. He had the ultimate life ripcord getting sent to Philadelphia. He sent back home. He's a good player. He's in the good zone. He's still, at the age apex. He's one of the most efficient running backs in the league. He's an all-purpose talent. But his work ethic is the reason he's not in the great zone. He is a potential locker room cancer. He certainly demoralizes the people around him, and it wasn't a culture fit in Detroit. And so that's why they let him go for just a late round pick swap. And whenever you see that, you need to be worried longer term about that player in Dynasty. So he's in the good zone for now. But that will change potentially even in week 1. Yeah. If he gets outsnapped by Gainwell in week 1, which the thing is, that's not, anyone knows that's not the craziest idea.
No, but that's a great point though. With Swift and Penny ahead of him on the depth chart, Gainwell seems like a great stash.
Gainwell is the stash. In fact, we are in a draft right now, and I'm on deck, and there's 42 minutes left, And I have had Gainwell in my queue at the top of my queue for the last 2 or 3 rounds. But because of ADP, I haven't been picking him, right? You don't just pick based on the top of our rankings have Gainwell higher than any other ranking service, right? So I'll tell you who Gainwell is adjacent to in our rankings. Gainwell is adjacent to Tank Bigsby and Damian Harris.
Okay.
So that's and he's ahead of, say, Brian Robinson and Samaje Perine. Right. That's another indicator. Like, how high are you on Gainwell is another one of those like litmus tests. It's very possible that after a full training camp that the Eagles, and not the Eagles really, but one player and one player alone. You got to remember who is the leader of the Eagles and who really runs that team. It's Jalen Hurts. And if DeAndre Swift is not returning his calls and DeAndre Swift isn't showing up in the gym when they're all showing up in the gym at 6 a.m. to lift with Jalen Hurts, and Gainwell's in there every day with Jalen Hurts and spotting him, you understand?
Yeah.
Do you think he wants him standing next to him in the backfield? Or do you think that it's going to be a struggle for Swift to get snaps when all the politics inside the team are saying Gainwell's the guy?
Jeez, maybe I should trade up with Ahan here and take Gainwell.
Better not.
I won't. All right.
No, the upside case for Gainwell is insane because it's the Eagles, man.
Yeah, absolutely. He's electrifying when he gets the touches too.
And they committed to him in the playoffs. So they decided that he out-touched Sanders in the playoffs. So what are we doing here? What are we doing? Yeah. So to me, it's like, that's like a floor at this point to put Gainwell in that mix of like guys like Herbert, Bigsby, Harris, other non-starters that people think have potential because, this guy's on the Bills or this guy's, the starter in week 1 or whatever it is. Gainwell is, Gainwell should be on this list ahead of a guy like Brian Robinson. Oh, is that JT?
Yeah, we'll move on because it looks like I got to get you out of here soon. You've got other shows to do. So JT.
Hey, man. He's great.
He is great.
He's great. And he was playing hurt last year. He's going to be more efficient this year. I'm excited for a big bounce back season from JT. I just don't really draft him ever because in seasonal leagues, I'm going for receiver in round 1. And I'm going more for Pollard and Chubb in round 2.
Yeah,
I don't really end up with much Taylor in seasonal leagues and best ball. And then in Dynasty, I kind of have a bunch of Taylor already. I'm a little bit overexposed. And so I'm kind of finding ways to not draft him.
Yeah, absolutely. When it's him up on the board, I always like the receiver in that range instead of him. But moving on, we'll see what side you're on. I'm on the Ken Walker side. Are you?
Ken Walker is awesome. God, I almost said he's elite. He's real. Do you have an awesome tier? Where's the awesome tier? He's in the awesome tier. He's wherever McCaffrey and ETN are.
Awesome. We have an awesome tier now.
Nice. We'll create the awesome tier. We'll put him in there.
Where the hell did I? Oh, I left him down here.
Yeah, we'll put Walker right in there, baby. Yeah, that's the awesome tier. Nice job, Walks. Love it.
All right.
He's awesome. Yes, we'll get that right. There he is.
Rashad
Kenneth Walker. He is one of the best runners in the league. He is the best young runner in the league. If you don't consider Jonathan Taylor young, but he is the next guy. He is the heir apparent to the Chubbs and the Taylors and the Derrick Henrys. And if you think that Zach Charbonnet has even a whisper of a chance of taking his job, you're wrong. It's the same thing in real life. And again, I was not as dialed into locker room dynamics 5 years ago, but when Charbonnet shows up in Seattle, and Walker has been in the gym since 5 a.m. and is just death staring everybody all the time, and Charbonnet comes in there like happy-go-lucky, it's not going to go well. He's going to get in there. He's going to get some catches. It's going to be fine. But longer term, like this is Kenneth Walker is one of those undeniable talents.
I'm buying a Kenneth Walker dip in every Dynasty league I can. I do not care about Charbonnet. I was a Michigan fan. I'm not a fan. Rachaad White.
Rachaad White. We are higher on Rachaad White than most.
I have heard.
We love Rachaad White. I don't think we can put him in the great tier yet. He has not shown enough to be great. But I think that just putting him in the good tier, in the middle of the good tier, is actually way above market. So that's what we're going to do.
All right. And we can wrap it up with Javonte Williams.
Oh, Javonte. I was wondering who was left. I love how we have basically 4 packed categories.
Yeah.
With below average being the most. And then I love how there's like 3 categories with one guy. Javonte is very interesting. He is very interesting. He's very hurt, but in Dynasty, when you go and you switch this over into like a rebuilding mode, he could be amazing. He could be such a true building block running back, because next year he'll be age 24, and we look at 3-year windows: age 24, 25, 26. In 2024, 2025, and 2026. You're going to have Javonte as potential sort of cornerstone running back in an improving offense. Let's forget about the fact that he's not going to play for the first couple months. Let's fast forward a little bit, and let's go ahead and put him in the great tier.
Awesome. Which end of the great tier you think he's at?
Put him at the end of the great tier, the very end, the very back end of the great tier. Because he is great. He's just not 100%. He's not going to be all year. This is a 2024 play only. Beautiful. Look at the symmetry here.
Yeah, that below average tier, it's got a bunch of landmines in it. Half of those guys are old and are going to fall off this year, and I'd really like to steer clear of them. But
wow, what a great job we did here. This is the best tiers show you've ever done.
Absolutely. I love it. And not to mention my main Dynasty league, I own probably 3 of the top running backs you have on this list. I love it.
Hey,
I know you got to get out of here, Matt. So you want to take another shot here? Tell everyone exactly what it is you're promoting on Player Profiler.
We talked about it earlier, but the draft kit's coming out early this week. Theo Greminger is our Dynasty god. He is the OG, and the draft kit is the most comprehensive seasonal league resource that exists. And you were part of it. I was part of it. So many people were part of it. It's a must subscribe tool. And certainly it's not the least expensive draft kit out there, but it is the best.
It's worth it.
And so that is the direction I would go there. And then again, the Dynasty Deluxe package that we have. If you want to get everything, just get the draft kit and Dynasty Deluxe and our data analysis, and that's the all-in package at Player Profiler. You get a big discount when you go up to the all-in package. And use promo code Podfather, and you get, I think, $10 off.
Yeah.
So you get $10 off with promo code Podfather. Do that. Get the all-in package. Get everything. The Dynasty package has win now versus rebuild mode. And you can see the difference between, especially a player like Javonte Williams, how he shifts there. So check that out. We have the best rankings. We have the best tools. Thank you for your time, man. This was fun.
Thanks for dropping in. It was great having you. I know you got to get out of here. So
post the shit on social media. Mention me at fantasy_mansion, and we'll get this thing out to the people.
Absolutely. This has been my tiers on the Dynasty running backs with the Podfather himself. Once again, it's Aaron St. Dennis here, and this has been the Mad Science Lab podcast. Thank you again, Matt, and thanks everyone for watching.